Super Dave here with another exciting Cobra Play Day. Alright, so now it is time to take a look at Dr. Mindbender. We're going to slip off this sleeve here. If you saw part one, you saw us cover the outside of the box pretty well. You can see how it has some really cool, kind of like we saw with Serpentor's box, some really neat looking things on the sides. And there's another quick look at the back. You see some things from the story of where Dr. Mindbender went on the adventure along with Cobras to go after the DNA parts that he needed. The different ones, Napoleon, Hannibal, I forgot the others that made up the makeup for Serpentor to be created. But let's go ahead and open up this Cobra DNA Helix here. And as we open it up, look at what is inside. Oh wow, just take a look at that. That is so cool looking. So neat, spectacular. Got like all these gear workings and wires and just different things hanging out of the ceiling and around this like a pod for him. Some of his iconic weapons like we saw in the original 3 3/4 size inch, and some new things as well that kind of go along with, I guess, a science laboratory, a brain, like a mummified hand, a bandaged up skull here. Looks like some tubes or some injection things there, little devices. But he looks just like himself. And look, it's a clear monocle too. I believe that's what you call it, like the little glass monocle for his eye. So neat. It's not painted on, it's an actual piece in there. So let's go ahead and break open this awesome packaging and get these items out and take a closer look at Dr. Mindbender. Yeah! Alright, here we are in another section of the Cobra headquarters where Dr. Mindbender has a laboratory. And so we see here, we can bring him on in here a little closer. He comes with a lot of cool trinkets and neat things that are just extra and deluxe for this character. There again is the monocle over his eye, which is attached, which is really neat. It's actually a piece of clear plastic, but it's neat, reminiscing of a glass eye monocle, which is so cool. This guy is jacked. He's very muscular. He has pinless joints, which is really nice throughout. This cape that has kind of like a some kind of coating on the back. It's kind of matte on the inside, as you see, but it's almost got like a leather or some kind of, you know, texture that gives it a shine on the back, which is a really nice touch. And kind of comes around his shoulders and around his arms, just like his cape did in the 3 3/4 scale inch figure. Now his, though, back in the late 80s, early 90s, his had a silver cobra symbol on the cape, so we don't have that. But other than that, this looks almost identical. I sold my collection last year, so I don't have that one to compare, but I will show you that he does come with a pistol that slides right inside of a holster on his side there, and that pistol does have a hole in the barrel, so you could put an effect piece there as well. This right here is a little smaller than I believe I remember, almost like a barrel type you know, thing. I don't know, it's supposed to be some kind of device that has, I'm sure, some solution in it or some kind of chemical, and you can attach this hose that he comes with on either the top of it or the side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the top right this moment so you can see. And that hose is very rubbery and bendable. There's a place for it to plug in to the side or on the top, and then you can plug the other end right into the back of that really neat looking. I would say like almost like a sci-fi scientific, and it also has a peg hole in the barrel area or the end of the nozzle there, so you could definitely put some effect pieces possibly here as well. So just really nice. And the other tool that he comes with, I'll go ahead and remove this one for a moment there after you have a chance to look at it, which it looks really good, and I'll set that to the side. We also have this like injection style thing that looks like it, you know, would inject into a patient. Has this thing up here, kind of like we've seen in sci-fi shows, where he can like inject things into people, and you have the chemical up here and then the needle here in the bottom. So that's what I believe that is. And then you have another instrument for his lab, which this one is very reminiscent of the one that we saw with the original toy version of Dr. Mindbender. This was his weapon. He came with like a backpack that this attached to instead of like a small barrel like the other one, but it will attach to the hose just like it did in the original toy, so that whatever is inside of this will definitely work with this as well as some kind of either weapon or tool that he's able to use inside of his laboratory. So that is really neat. So he can hold this. I have not really seen yet anywhere where he can plug this barrel type piece or this canister to his person. Not seen anywhere yet where he can do that, like on his leg or on his back or anything. So or on his gauntlet. So I'm thinking you could just have to pretty much put it in his hand. He can hold it right here on the base of that barrel of the hose where it plugs in, or you can plug it in, like I was saying, to the side here, and then he can hold it like so, and then hold the instrument like I had it earlier. Let me go ahead and put it on the top, and that might make it look a little bit more natural, like so there. And I like the other one better because it has the cool like spring looking mechanism on the barrel end of it, but we'll just leave it like this, like so he can hold that and certainly use it that way as he's working in his laboratory. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things that he comes with. The first thing that I want to mention is this skull, and it looks like it's been bandaged up. It's definitely a skull, and it's kind of been broken up as he's been experimenting on it, so it's bandaged up, and then the head or the skull portion of it is removable, or the top of the crown of the head, I should say. And then there's a peg hole down in there, and that corresponds with the brain that he comes with. He comes with this brain, so he's definitely doing some experiment and he has removed the brain from some poor soul, and that will plug right into that hole, so you get a brain that is plugged in, there we go, to the skull. Let's see, maybe have it backwards. You can kind of twist it down in there, get it to plug down in there, and then yep, see, you can plug the crown right back on, and you can see the brain through that little crack in the crown of the head, crown of the skull here, and that pops right back into place, flush there on the back and the front, and you'd never know it, and it's attached, so you can see. Now the jaw doesn't move or anything, but you can see the brain through there. That is really cool. Now, just for clarification, he did not come with this microscope, this one ocular microscope. I got that in like a craft store in the miniatures, so you should be able to find maybe something like that at Hobby Lobby or Michael's in the miniature area at some place, or probably order one on Amazon or something. But I feel like he should have come with one of these, but just so you know, he did not come with that. But what he does come with, which is really cool, are these little, I'd say, test tube type things. Now these were loose in the package, so I had, and they had individual little notches for them to pop in and pop out of, but they're so tiny I was afraid not to go ahead and install them. But there's 4 of them, and they're these little, I would say, little injection tubules that probably have some kind of medicine in them that he can, you know, plug into any of his devices. Like that one, it would plug into the butt of that, or even it would, see, like for instance, this one here, you plug into the end of that. You could definitely, you know, inject somebody with whatever these are, but they come out of this thing. They have 4 holes, as you see, all the way around it. So you plug them right inside of that. Have a little white speck at the end. And this is definitely a neat little scientific looking, futuristic, sci-fi looking little dome. Almost looks like a siren before you put these on there. But if you pop this off, you can put the brain in there. So let's go ahead and do that now. You can remove the top of the crown of the skull, pop that brain back out of there. Let's go ahead and put our skull back together. So cool. So fun to play with. And you can pop that brain right into that hole, this cool thing, and then put there, and he's got that brain soaking in some kind of solution that will preserve it so that he can use that for his testing. And then you may have noticed there's a larger one here as well, and this one doesn't have like the holes all the way around it like the other one, but it does have like almost like some plug-in type places here. And I'm not sure if there's anything specifically supposed to plug into those, but it is worth noting that the end of these type wand, cannon looking wand, experimental devices, weapons, whatever they are that he's got, there's 2 of them. We got one already hooked up to the hose as we showed you, but they will plug into that size peg, but I'm not sure exactly what sense that would make unless it was, you know, in absorbing some kind of chemical in there. But that's what the hose is for. So I don't know, that may just be a coincidence. But like I said, there's not really anything, because this one does not plug in there. This one is too small. Like I said, I think that's more like the injector, the needle. So I'm not sure if there's anything that comes with him that's designed to really plug into these side places, but they are there. So you might have some, you know, some kind of other equipment or accessories that you could find that would plug into that you could add to this look. But this one pops open also, and we also get this like mummified hand, or maybe it is the attempt of Dr. Mindbender to create a hand, because it's got hoses coming through it, like maybe there's some electrical going through here, but it doesn't really look like a bat's hand, something from the bats, B-A-T-B period A period T period. It more looks like a mummified hand that has been adapted with some form of electrical nodes in there, but it will plug right in there. Then you put this over it and you can store your mummified arm slash hand wrist piece in there, as you can tell. So there you have it. That's all of his accessories. Really nice set of equipment there, and I just really like all of what he comes with. It's just going to be fun to set up this lab and have him alongside of, and I've got, you know, the dude from Fantastic Four, because he's in a lab coat kind of working back here. And then I was telling you earlier in part 1 that I was going to use Egghead, Marvel Legends Egghead. He just looks like he would fit well with Dr. Mindbender, and they could work together. He can be an assistant, so I'm putting him in here as part of my lab scene. And then also, if you really want to go wild, you could even use from Marvel Legends the Lizard Man here, because he's got his lab coat and he comes with some actual beakers with chemicals in them, and I've not been able to put my hands on them right now because I've got some stuff in the way, that I think are maybe in the containers that I have them stored in, so I can't get to them. But that would be really cool to put alongside with your laboratory here, is whatever he came with, so that you could use him also with Dr. Mindbender if you really want to get a little kinky with it here. Little fun going along with there. But let's go ahead and take a look at Dr. Mindbender. He's able to look up a very good amount. Just check that out. He's also able to look down all the way. He's got a really nice hinge in his ball joint neck there, and his neck also moves slightly, not a tremendous amount, but you are going to be able to have enough to get some like head pivoting and some expressions that he's going to be able to do. So you're going to get a very good range with that neck and head design there. So that's really good. That is excellent. And then his cape does not interfere with him going 360. You might just have to make sure it don't pinch there in the corners. His arms are going to go up. Doesn't feel like they're going to go up quite. I don't know if it's because of the cape or the pieces here. So the shoulders don't quite make it to 90 degrees. Something's holding them back from going up all the way. It seems like this one maybe goes up just a little bit taller. You can see where the dye of the cape is actually bled onto his arm there, the plastic, the skin. So there's some kind of dye in that shiny part that has rubbed off onto the flesh tones, but that's about as far up as his arms will go there. He does have bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows, as I said, that are pinless as well, so that's very good range. He does not have a gauntlet swivel, but he has a huge gauntlet, which is very nice. That is reminiscent to the cartoon as well as the 80s and late 80s toy. He has a horizontal hinge on this hand here, so you have swivel and horizontal hinge. And then on this side, which is excellent for his tools and lab type weaponry and equipment, he has a vertical hinge, so swivel and vertical hinge on the right side. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, he's got this chain type and then goes around his shoulder type mechanism that goes from his belt. This is all very reminiscent to the toy and the cartoon as far as the way he looked. Goes all the way around. And and there's also a butterfly joint up in there too, even though it doesn't get a whole lot of range, but it is present. That cape is removable if you maneuvered these arms, but he's supposed to have a cape, so I'm not going to remove that. He of course has swivel at the waist, even though this is going to hinder a little bit, this chain. You don't want to stretch that and break that, but it is going to swivel. He's going to be able to crunch forward a very good amount. He's going to be able to bend back a very good amount. He also has the ability to go side to side because of the waist as well some. He's going to be able to get full splits with those legs. He does also have the drop down method, as you can see it shifting there, which is going to allow him to be able to kick a really good amount upwards in any direction. He also has your thigh cut there, and he's also got double jointed knees behind that huge pad on the boot here. This bendable boot here, it's bendable boot knee pad type thing is covering up that, so you've got the ability to go full, really good range rather, all the way to the behind, as we say. And he does have boot cut at that boot. He's got excellent and nice long tall calf style boots that will get full tiptoes, will go up all the way on this one, and has excellent rockers with the peg hole in the bottom. So this Dr. Mindbender is not lacking in any way when it comes to your average G.I. Joe classified articulation, with the exception of maybe just the shoulders not being able to go a full 90, but that's not a huge issue. He looks great. I just love this Dr. Mindbender. He is just like he looked in the cartoon, from the mustache to his monocle to his clothing, his cape, the color scheme, the boots, just everything, even his weaponry and tools or scientific instrumentation here. And I love the little extras like the skull and these lab beaker things that will store his his stuff. So just really overall nice equipment for this Dr. Mindbender, and such an excellent deluxe action figure. So tickled that I was able to get him a part of my collection, and just deck him out back here with all of these science dudes so that he can serve the whim of Cobra Commander until he doesn't. And then he's going to be the mastermind, if you will, really, behind creating Serpentor. Don't think me disloyal, Cobra Commander. Okay, I'm lying. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at him with some other action figures. In the photo gallery,